Greetings, Eric Brown, MOBO-Media, MOBO-Media. So why did the Texas governor veto Senate Bill 3, which would have banned all THC products in Texas? You know, a lot of folks are wondering why Greg Abbott, the governor of Texas, decided to veto this bill. And I'll be honest with you, a lot of folks were expecting him to pass the bill. The Texas Lieutenant Governor, Dan Patrick, man, I don't know, man, he's a hardcore dude when it comes to any discussions on THC or hemp-derived products. And so the governor waited till the last minute to sign this bill. Obviously, the lieutenant governor did a press conference where he kind of laid into the governor for doing what he did. For some reason, this guy has it out for anybody that's using THC products. He has it out for the existence of THC products, so I'm not sure what that's all about. But I will tell you, I think Governor Greg Abbott made a damn good decision. He made the right decision. There are a lot of vendors and retailers around Texas who have popped up as a result of the farm bill, the hemp farm bill, which is legal. And so I think when Texas passed the farm bill law with the hemp and also the federal government, they didn't realize they were also passing legislation to allow for hemp-derived THC products such as Delta 9, Delta 8, Delta 10, those sorts of things. So Governor Abbott, I think, was not too happy about signing this bill or passing it because of what he considered, legal challenges that would certainly follow passage of the bill. Because he referenced a challenge, I believe, in Arkansas that's caught up in the courts. And so I applaud Governor Abbott, and I think he did the right thing because he's a lawyer. He's a lawyer by trade. Governor Abbott used to be the Attorney General of Texas, a sharp Attorney General. And so he knows that if he signs the bill into law, he's going to be faced with a lot of legal pushback, a lot of tying up a lot of this in the courts. And meanwhile, it won't go into effect if you think about it. So if he passes the bill and then folks challenge it in the courts, and all you need is a judge to say, hey, stop implementation of the bill, it could tie it up for years. Meanwhile, the hemp-derived THC industry would just continue to grow and grow and grow, unregulated. So I think Governor Abbott took the approach, well, it's here already. There's a lot of it. There are a lot of folks that have jobs. It's having some impact on the economy. I think Governor Greg Abbott was saying there's no sense in standing in front of what the people want because the people are saying they want it. Everything from veterans, myself a veteran, those that have been exposed to traumatic events, children, with seizures, all sorts of things. Now, Texas does have the compassionate use program, but the compassionate use program is very limited. They have CBD products, they have THC, but it's considered low level, and the options are very limited. So it's pitiful compared to other states who have medical marijuana. But this legislative session, they did pass a law that will allow for the expansion of products under the Texas Compassionate Use Act. So they are going to allow more products legally to be sold in Texas. But you have to have obviously a doctor's recommendation to get these products from the state of Texas. Right now, they have tinctures, they have gummies, they have chocolates, they have drinks, I think maybe some other things. Where they're expanding that to suppositories, patches, vapes. And so they're really pushing to get closer and closer to the other states who have legalized marijuana. Now, myself, I've tried several of these things just to kind of get an idea of what they were. And as a veteran, I'll tell you, years ago, I started down the road on dealing with hemp products as opposed to taking meds for military-related things such as chronic pain, PTSD, anxiety, sleep deprivation, all that type of stuff. So, I'm one to, I won't let anybody tell me what I put in my body. I put in my body what I think is beneficial for my body. So rather than be put on meds and all this type of stuff with the VA doc, I'd rather just go the herbal way, the all-natural way. So I tried Delta 9s, I tried Delta 8. I haven't tried Delta 10. I've tried THCA, THCP, CBD. I've tried them all. My favorite go-to is Delta 8 and maybe some Delta 9. But Delta 8, if you think about it, Delta 8 is like marijuana without the high. I mean, it does get you a little very relaxed, but it doesn't get you so high where you can't even think straight or have a proper conversation. Delta 8 is primarily, for me, it's for chronic pain. I can take Delta 8, it'll take care of that pain, but allow me mentally to keep going, focus, without being all, again, faded and high and all that type of stuff. Delta 9 is just like THC. Delta 9 is THC. It's just THC derived from hemp. Same THC. the thing is with the hemp plant can only produce just a small amount of THC in the plant, of THC. Unlike marijuana plants where you have quite a bit of THC during the growth process. But with hemp, you don't have a lot of THC, but there's THC there. And they've developed a way to pull all that THC out. And it's legal. Basically you need more hemp to pull out the same amount of THC as you would in an amount of marijuana. But it's the same THC. And these folks in Texas have decided to, or they come up with a way to put in the Delta 9s, Delta 8, again, all these other hemp-derived products, not marijuana, hemp-derived. These were approved, and I think their farm bill, was 2018. I'm not sure if it was a federal one or the one for the state of Texas, but either or, they were both focused on the same thing, and that's legalizing hemp. Now, I will tell you that there's been a stigma associated with marijuana use for many years, and a lot of it comes from the older population, and a lot of it comes from our own government. Our own government, put a label on marijuana. They schedule it in the same class as cocaine, and so our own government did it. And so they did the same thing with prohibition with alcohol. They played around with alcohol, and look what alcohol is doing now. You think they're going to take alcohol off the shelves now? I doubt it. So marijuana is going through the same things. I think marijuana should be allowed. I think adults should have a decision on how they care for themselves, what they put into their bodies. When you go into these stores, where they sell the products, the Delta 9s, the Delta 8, they even have smokable forms of the Delta 8 or Delta 9 hemp where you get THC out of it. But when you go into these stores, one thing you don't see a lot of young folks in there, high school kids, like Dan Patrick was saying. Kids in there trying to, you see more kids outside convenience stores, particularly in congested large cities. Kids hanging around and want somebody to buy them some alcohol or buy them cigarettes. My mother was just telling me she saw a young boy up in Fort Worth. He must have been like 14 years old or something like that. My mom was going into a store and the young boy was trying to get my mother to buy him some cigarettes. And she said, absolutely not. And when she told me that, I said, man, this is crazy. But the thing to keep in mind, somebody bought that kid some cigarettes. He found a way to get those cigarettes. Either somebody bought them for him or the store owner looked at dollars instead of the health of that kid and sold him those cigarettes. And so that's commonplace. They talk about the access to Delta 9 products and kids and, the risk of poisoning. But what about alcohol and cigarettes? Come on, man. This stuff is laying around a whole bunch of households. Dad has a liquor cabinet over in the corner somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Dad's cigarettes just hanging out in the living room, and the cigarettes he hadn't smoked are still in the ashtray to have cigarettes. So you think kids don't have access to that stuff? They have access to it. So stop playing the game with THC and acting like, it's some end of the world type of thing. And that couldn't be farther from the case. You know what I'm saying? Other states are jumping on board. They're understanding that the adults want this, and they're implementing this. And a lot of states are coming back saying it has been a tremendous, tremendous benefit to their economy, to the tunes of millions of dollars a year in marijuana sales. And there are regulations on them. You can't just go into these dispensaries such as California. They're going to ID you. I don't care if you're damn 75 years old. They're going to ID you. Same thing in Vegas. They're going to ID you. But this whole notion that right now, Dan Patrick is saying the industry is unregulated, the Delta 9, the Delta 8, and all that type of stuff, and the high dose THC, it is regulated. Look on the packaging. Every last packaging I've seen tells you exactly what's in there, and they have a QR code which you can scan to see the actual scientific report, what they did lab to see what was in there. And they all have not sold to anyone below the age of 21. Every last packaging I've seen said this. So what Dan Patrick, he's blowing smoke out his ass. He's just, I don't know, man. This guy's from the 40s or the 50s. His mind, his thinking, man. And he refused to change. He said in the press release, in the press conference that, hey, if y'all want to vote me out of office for this, then so be it. Well, I think you got what you're asking for, because I'm telling you right now, the next election cycle, man, you are a target to get voted out of office. I tell you right now, a lot of folks coming to Texas, they embrace out the box thinking. They embrace, adjusting as you go along through time as far as society and how things play out. You adjust. You don't keep things the same and with this rigid approach, and I'm not going to change, this is the way it is. Things change. People's minds change, Scientific data changes. Scientific data. Medical data changes. So we should be changing with the time. We should be changing with the changes that's coming about with marijuana and THC, Delta 9, Delta 8, THCP, THCA, smokable, vapes, whatever. You know what I'm saying? we should change with the times because people are using these. Whether we sell them in legal shops or not, they're going to get them. And one thing I will say, if the governor had signed that bill banning all THC products in Texas, number one, you would have had a lot of folks out of jobs. A lot of folks out of jobs. Number two, you would have had a lot of folks who rely on these products to seek them elsewhere. They'll go out of state to get them. They'll order them through the mail. You know, when you go in these stores, you don't see young kids in these stores. You see mostly middle-aged people. Middle-aged, I say 30s to, hell, I've seen a guy almost 70 years old and they're buying some smokable stuff. You know, and you don't know what this gentleman was dealing with. He could have been dealing with everything from cancers or any other type of, musculoskeletal chronic pains to spines. You just don't know. But that's his right to choose what he puts in his body to care for his body. I was on edge waiting on this thing. I didn't know which way the governor was going to go. I'll be honest with you. But a part of me said there's no way in hell he's going to just wipe out all of these jobs or wipe out all of these industries with a stroke of a pen. And with due consideration given to Texas allowed them to open up these shops. Texas said it's illegal by passing the hemp law. And so as a lawyer, I applaud him. I really applaud him. I'm not a Governor Greg Abbott fan by any stretch of the imagination. I tend to kind of stay away from politics only when it involves me, veterans, or the people close to me. But Greg Abbott, I think, did a stand-up thing today. He did the right thing because as a lawyer, he knows he signed that thing in the law, it ain't going nowhere. It's going to get stalled in the courts for years. And within those years that it's stalled in the court, you're going to have more and more shops pop up. You're going to have more and more products pop up. You're going to have more and more high-dose products pop up, you know what I'm saying? And if Dan Patrick thinks it's a risk for children, if he had signed that bill, you talking about a risk to children, you definitely would have had a risk to children. Because right now, there's a lot of things going on with marijuana and all that type of stuff right now. Everybody knows about fentanyl and some of the other stuff that they're mixing in all these drugs. Well, unfortunately, they're putting fentanyl in marijuana now. They're not telling folks. There are folks dying from marijuana, I'm being honest with you. It's not the marijuana they're dying from. They're dying from the fentanyl that these disgusting ass people put into the marijuana. I've heard of it. I don't think it's a lot going on, but there are some folks out there with devious intentions, man. You know, putting that stuff inside marijuana, which is crazy. So you got to be careful. That's why I think Texas is doing the right thing with those named Greg Abbott, because right now all these shops and stores are out there. The products are on the shelf. They're in Texas everywhere. The thing is, and like I said before, they are regulated. You got the 21 age on there. They're watching who comes to the door. They're not going to sell it to any little kids. But there still needs to be regulation. Now, I 100% agree with that. There needs to be regulation because right now, all the testing is done by, parties that Texas is not affiliated with. All the testing for these products are done by, I don't know, just anybody. It could be done by folks in China. Who knows? But I think Texas wants to make sure these products are tested in a way to where the Texas public really understands what's in there so they can make informed decisions about whether they want to use these products or not. And so I agree. Let's test them because people are doing crazy and stupid things out there. And it wouldn't surprise me if some of these little shops that pop up selling Delta 9, Delta 8, if they're allowing the sale of some products in their stores that have things in their products other than hemp-derived products that can be considered very dangerous. I'm sure some of these folks are allowing that stuff in and not giving a good proper look, a kick or feel to the products. So I salute Governor Greg Abbott on trying to regulate it because it's here. Best thing to do is try to regulate the industry because the industry is here. It ain't going nowhere. But to Governor Dan Patrick, man, you're living in the Stone Ages, man. You're living in the Stone Ages. I don't know if y'all know, but here in Austin, Texas, where the Texas Capitol sits, the city of Austin decriminalized marijuana several years ago. So in the city of Austin, you get pulled over by the cops for marijuana, they don't even write your ticket and let you go because they're told that it won't stand up in court. You know, the Austin City Council passed a resolution decriminalizing marijuana. They did the right thing. So I think Governor Greg Abbott had a lot of pressures around him from a lot of different folks, to include lobbyists for the marijuana and hemp industry. And there are also lobbyists for the alcohol industry and cigarette. I'm going to tell you, because they were there on his ass trying to get him to sign this bill too, because it's going to dip into their profits. More and more people start using marijuana products and hemp-derived products, less and less people start using alcohol, because alcohol is dangerous and risky. And I'm not saying there's not dangers and risk with the marijuana, Delta 9, Delta 8s, but my goodness, come on, man. Alcohol, cigarettes. The proof is in the pudding. Come on, man. Come on. I don't know of a person that's gotten cancer from marijuana. I don't know a person that's died from marijuana. I don't know a person that's had a stroke from marijuana. If anything, marijuana, it gets risky the more you use it. So just don't be a knucklehead and consume a whole bunch of it, because you're going to find your ass laid out somewhere. You know what I'm saying? That's just not the way to do it. Greg Abbott made the right decision. I'm familiar with a lot of local vendors. There's one here locally, I think, called Drip and Rip. Not trying to promote them, but Drip and Rip is one. They a bunch of great guys and women in there, and they sell really high quality products. And they don't just sell you the product; they have a discussion with you to make sure it is what you're looking for. So a lot of the guys in there and ladies, they'll ask you, what are you trying to relieve or heal or what have you? And they'll help you out. They'll put you to the right product without being biased and trying to sell someone else's products more than others in the store. Their focus is to get you what you want coming into the store and make you a satisfied customer. So Senate Bill 3 was vetoed. Governor Abbott vetoed Senate Bill 3. It was the right thing to do. Texas is in the damn Stone Ages. Marijuana is here. It ain't going anywhere. You might as well get used to it. It's on the shelves. It is, the people want it. Give the people what they want. Get out of the way. That's what it's all about. It's funny because, you don't hear so much argument about pharmacy as you do with marijuana. Nobody talks about pharmacy or the dangers of pharmacy. Nobody talks about the addictions of pharmacy or how that stuff, it messes up your kidneys and, your stomach, your mind, No one talks about the pharmacy medication because that's money. That's money. I guarantee there was a lot of lobbyists on Greg Abbott's ass from the pharmacy, alcohol, and the cigarette industry telling him that, you need to sign this bill. This is the right thing to do. We need to save our kids. And, there's a lot of danger out there, blah, blah, blah. Never mind the fucking alcohol and the cigarettes and all this other dangerous stuff that you have on your shelves in your stores. Never mind that stuff. My family, I'm going to use an example of my family. My family, we had, we had a lot of alcoholism in my family. I think for some reason that has dissipated now. It's kind of falling out to the wayside. It's not nearly as bad as it used to be. I had uncles, man, that used to drink straight out of the bottle, man. I'm talking about hooch, just a hardcore liquor, man, but they were hard workers too. But nowadays, you don't really see a whole lot of that. You still see the drinking, some of the hard liquors, but not to the intensity they did back then, And back then, they didn't know what they didn't know. They didn't have anything to lean on to help get them through the day or to help them, fight the misery of even the civil rights movement, everything going on back then, the racism, trying to, provide for your families. They didn't have a lot of options, a lot of things to go to. There was alcohol and cigarettes and illicit drugs, the cocaine, the heroin, all the other stuff. But nowadays, folks have more things to rely on other than alcohol. Folks are leaning more towards, marijuana, THC, Delta 8, Delta 9. They're leaning more toward that to relieve some of the stressors and wind down and, get the mind to stop racing so fast. And so more healthier options. So I haven't looked at the numbers as far as alcoholism in the U.S. It could still be the same, but I know my own family, it's not near as what it used to be. So with that, I'll let y'all go, but I just want to congratulate the people of Texas and the vendors in Texas who fought against SB3. Every time I went into one of these little shops, just kind of check out what they had. As a veteran, I'm trying to get an idea of what the veterans are consuming and what they're purchasing in these stores. And one thing I always see when I go into stores, they always have some sort of a sign or something near the cash register saying, please, please, please help us fight on behalf of SB3. Help us get SB3 vetoed. And I think I did sign my name to something early on with SB3. But it is vetoed. The governor has called a special session July 21st. I applaud him for doing that. This special session is going to be focused on how to regulate the products that are out there now. And I think that's the right thing to do. That is the right thing to do. Again, I applaud Greg Abbott for not vetoing Senate Bill 3, which would have banned all THC products in Texas. It was the ass backwards thing to do. The right thing to do is to give people what they want. And it's here. Look at California. Hell, I went through New York recently, riding downtown New York, and I was surprised to see all the dispensaries with the green X on them and everything. But you didn't see lines wrapped around the corners. You didn't see addicts hanging out the door, falling on the ground. You didn't see any of that. I didn't see anybody going into the stores. They actually have them pretty discreet. So a lot of folks that use these products are discreet with it. You know what I'm saying? I use them from time to time. I have very chronic pain issues, so Delta 8 works fine for me because I don't like the high. I got to keep my mind going. I've got a different type of mind. I can't let anything disrupt my thinking. It's got to be straight focused. So Delta 8 works for me. But on occasion, I'll take Delta 9. If I'm really wound up and need to wind down, I'll take Delta 9, you know. I'll try the THCP, which is extremely strong. I don't recommend it. THCA, I've tried it. It's real good. They've got smokable THCA. You want to sit out back somewhere, just have your smoke and just relax, not bothering anyone. You ain't drinking no alcohol, which alcohol will get your ass drunk and jicky and crazy. But weed won't do nothing but chill your ass the hell out. The biggest thing you'll do is go to sleep. Real talk. With that, this is Eric Brown, MOBO-Media. Texas refused to ban all THC products, and salutes to Greg Abbott. Hey, with that, y'all take care. This is Eric Brown, MOBO-Media. Please like, subscribe the video, and share, please, because I need to know that I'm doing the right thing by giving y'all information that's valuable to you that you can use. With that, Eric Brown, MOBO-Media. I'm out.